This is Akashvani Bengaluru. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Yuvavani.
Welcome to the airwaves. My name is Sanjana, your above average MBA maven, the book enthusiast, turning pages and turning heads, trained in the art of holding a tune, and a chatterbox by choice, which is put to use by being my very own podcast host. Hello.
I am Manasa, a recent commerce graduate, also a CA aspirant. I consider myself a creative person, so I love to read books, draw and paint sometimes, and travel. Also write poem. And I love talking about investments, think about startups, and striking a conversation about the same.
Today we're back with another exciting topic, and that is shifts and drifts, the ever changing landscape of trends. And under this, we'll be covering three subtopics, which are
Firstly, TV will soon be a thing of the past, and the second one being orange is the new black or beige is the new black, and the third one being the most important aspect that everyone should at least have an idea as to what it is. That is, when and who to get married. So let's begin without further ado.
Yeah. I want to start with a first question for you, Mansa. Do you think the younger generation's preference for OTTs over TVs is a sign that the remote control might soon be classified as an antique piece?
Absolutely. With the evolution of streaming services and technology where everything is happening at the end of one touch on the screen. With this being said, I think yes, TV is already a thing of the past. And I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's still a significant audience for the live broadcasts and schedules and programs that were happening like earlier?
Actually, I think that has already become past. Because I remember when we were kids, we used to wait for a particular TV show to come on TV. Like there's a time and there's a schedule for TV where each show would be showcased. And we used to always like wait, or we used to come back from tuition and school and just, be like, oh, Pokemon is on. Yeah, but these days kids don't need that because they have everything in a digital library where they can like choose it at any time. So I don't think it's, even existent anymore.
Absolutely. Speaking of this, I want to bring about this concept. Do you remember Barbie?
Oh, I do.
Barbie, like it started from a company named Mattel in the 1950s. And
Oh.
later on, you can see the evolution and progress. It became not just Barbie as in like a girl doll, but then there was Ken,
Oh, yeah.
the other gender. And now in the recent generation or the present generation, we have Barbie, which shows the inclusivity with all body shapes and sizes.
Mhm.
And before it was just like one shade of Barbie doll, as in skin tone. Now there is like all the other shades, which expresses like brown and other color combinations. And this will show the societal perception about inclusivity.
That's so true. While we're talking about Barbie, we can see the evolution of Barbie, like from the beginning. Like she was a doll, and then she became like into these animated movies, and now it's like a Hollywood hit where like one of the leading actresses is playing
True.
that role. And it was, as we were talking about it earlier, I think it made millions in the movie
Millions
industry.
and millions.
Just because she was playing a character which is like been existent for so many years. And these days kids don't even know what Barbie is. Like
True.
they're just like, oh, Barbie is Margot Robbie. But she's not, kids.
Correct.
She's not.
Barbie itself started as in like, do you remember Cartoon Network and Pogo were the channels that was particularly reserved for these Barbie movies on Saturday and
Totally.
Sunday nights?
Yeah.
And now in the present generation, we can see Barbie is not just a doll, but like a global sensation when it comes to movie industry.
Mm-hmm. True.
And speaking of this, where we are talking about change, where change is the only constant, as the great man once said. Do you want to go to the next topic and share your insights on that?
Sure. And next topic is orange is the new black or beige is the new black. And while we're on that, I want to ask you that now that orange is truly the new black, who in the fashion or the cine world plays like a lead role in this orange drama?
One celebrity that I can literally imagine right now, or that comes to my mind now, is that Harry Styles, if you know. Do you people remember there's this One Direction group? Not Ease. There used to be a group
Yeah.
called One Direction, which made a global sensation.
Of course.
And one of the members being Harry Styles, he has himself moved from like all this black aesthetic to like orange,
Yeah.
pink aesthetic, defining his own set of standards for like basically male
Yeah.
platforms. So this is one person that comes to my mind when you ask this question.
I think that's so true. And in my head, I would say it's Ranveer Singh because he
True.
has this palette in his wardrobe, this color palette, where any event you go, he's like wearing this bright pop of orange. And I think it's so fun. Like, he's
True.
just like changing the standards
Correct.
for men all over the world.
And do you think beige and orange are not just the colors that we express ourselves through clothes or our appearance or attire? Do you think this has made a significant impact in like other industry as well? For example, fashion or music or let's say tech.
I think, yeah, because beige is considered a minimalistic color, as you said.
True.
And it is like the minimalism trend is on. So
Correct.
when that is on, the beige and the tans and the neutrals are making the most, appearances in people's clothes or their accessories or their, like as you said, technology. And I think few examples that I can think of are clothes, as you said. And even in the tech industry, I've seen something like phone covers and laptop
True.
covers and bags.
Bags.
Most importantly, bags. And any accessory that you might carry, like watches and stuff, because it matches variety of colors.
True.
So it is replacing black, I may say, because black matches everything. And now so does beige.
Speaking of this, I do want to add this fact that beige is this color which might lack vibrancy,
True.
but then it embraces neutrality and simplicity. And yeah, coming to the color concept and color psychology, do you think beige as a color has replaced black or some other extravagant colors? Or how do you think this is just a trend that would be like here for a while and then would pass on or move on?
I think, it is just a trend for a while, but I wouldn't say that about orange and beige because they're both totally different colors.
True.
So for orange is the new black, I would say that it's just a trend and it's, just for the time being. It's just like a phase, I would say.
True.
But beige is not a phase. I think beige will like stay as a classic because it is by nature a neutral color.
Correct.
So yeah, I don't think it'll like dethrone black or something forever.
Speaking of this, I would like to add this fact. Do you people know the fact that peach fuzz has been connoted the color of the year 2024? And
Ooh, I didn't know that.
yeah, and this color stands between the light shade of pink and light shade of orange. And this color is also from the family of beige. And also, this marks the 25th anniversary of Pantone's Color of the Year program. So, this is the fact that I wanted to add. Your life could be like beautiful even if the shade you're seeing through is as ordinary as beige.
I think that is so true, and like I think so many people will relate to that.
Exactly.
I want to close this topic with one question. Do you prefer the classics like black, white, red, or do you think that fashion trends are getting more colorful or are they getting more confusing?
With the moving trends of all these colors for different years, I think everyone should have the self-concept of expressing themselves through some colors that would suit them as in person. Because when you see a person, the best way to get to know about them without much of a need or like much of a conversation, the best way is to like see them, their attire and the color they're expressing themselves with.
Yeah.
So even though there are moving trends, the concept that would confuse you, you should have your own self-concept and self-awareness as to this is the color I want to express myself with. Because till today, I think if orange is a color, that would be me because I am enthusiastic and like that would give you like evoke a sense of positivity.
True. So if we're talking about expressing ourselves, I think we should go to the next and most juicy topic, I would say,
True.
is when and whom to marry and all about changing trends in relationships. So I want to
Amazing.
start that with this question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think finding the one should be like as fast as like Tinder swiping, or are we better off with like a slow cooked love story? Like old times.
Got it. This is a hypothetical question, and for this, yes, obviously a hypothetical answer. My answer is it is subjective. See, finding the right person, I think the concept itself is like a misogyny. People do like come across this as in a wrong way. In the sense, people think, okay, you just find the right person. But then before that, there's a self-work that you have to do.
True.
Meaning you need to be in that mindset. You need to be ready for that. You need to be ready to take the pros and cons that's attached to that.
Very
so
much.
for this question, the answer is it's mostly subjective. And the answer lies within yourself. You have to like self-question yourself. And you're already there when you do this. And yes, talking about marriage, do you think self-awareness or communication plays an important role? And obviously, when it comes to the topic of choosing the partner for life, there are like certain factors that plays a major role. What do you think those factors are?
I think this is such an interesting question because there's like a million answers, but I'll try to give one. So, as you said, self awareness, I think, is literally the most important thing. It's the first thing I would say.
True.
To be self aware, to know what you're looking for in a man or a woman. I think you should have those kind of expectations for yourself. And I wouldn't say expectations, I would say standards. Because everyone
Exactly.
has different kind of things what they, want to see in the person that they're in love with or who they're married to. And I think that there are many factors for that. And I would say a few would be character because it's really important. And
Correct.
practically, I would say, how you all are with finances and how you make big decisions and how they react under pressure. All of this is like really important because marriage is not easy.
Not at
and
all.
not just me. I think we both have seen like tough marriages in the family and like so many places
True.
even. And we know that it's not a game. In today's world, just love is practically not logical, I feel like. Because you need to see so many things. You have to see, like how I said before, the personality and how they react under pressure because you may have a conflict in the future
True.
and that might become a big problem for you later.
Correct.
So I think that you should see all these factors in the process of dating so that your marriage, holds good for a long time.
Exactly, and a wise approach, I must say, because as you said, it's about knowing about yourself, self-awareness. You
Yeah.
could be the person who would enjoy the spotlight and growing and thriving in front of the crowd, and you're the person who would be like well appreciated by a person who wouldn't mind being behind the spotlight. Well, if you're a person who would like want someone else to lead and protect you and provide for you, still well
Yeah.
and good. There are like two approaches.
True.
And yeah, coming to this question, do you think the concept of marriage has evolved, right? And some are opting for unconventional paths like long-term partnership without a formal marriage. How do you think? Like, what is your take on this?
I think, again, as you said, this is also subjective because it works differently for different people.
Correct.
But if you ask my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're in a legal or an illegal relationship, I think that in your early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
you need to understand what you want in the opposite person. You cannot expect the other person to react the way you want them to react without letting them know that this is what you want,
Absolutely.
that this is what you need. These are your emotional needs. And you can't expect it to reciprocate without you communicating to them. So I think that it's really important that when relationships are unconventional or conventional, that doesn't matter. But where you are with this person and what you're expecting with this person should be the main role there.
Absolutely. Very well said.
And speaking of these unconventional and conventional, we have diverse relationships
True.
taking a center stage. So, how do you see the criteria for choosing a life partner evolving? Like, is it about shared interests? Like, are people still wanting similarities in a partner, or are they getting more attracted to differences?
Oh God, this is an amazing question. Similarities is well and good, where both are in the shared interest. You both are evolving and growing and thriving at the same time.
True.
Whereas dissimilarities, I think people take it in a wrong notion because change could often be associated with negative aspects. It is seen as passive and not good.
True.
While there is a change that can happen for good also, right?
Absolutely.
Because I'm a person who would just think straight and narrow. If there's a person who would explain me the wider approach, you would be changing for good.
True.
And to walking togetherly, you have to see the positive side and just take what is good in it and move on, I think.
I think when a person, like two different people have a conversation about one topic, there's like so many like various opinions that you get. And
True.
everyone can see that there's not just one side to a change in a trend or, a shift in the trend. And there's always a good and a bad side. And when they see it, they'll be able to make, a decision with clarity.
Correct. Very well said. Likewise. And it's always interesting to explore perceptions on perspectives on these life decisions. Until our next conversation, now let's conclude.
Okay. So that was it, guys. It was Shifts and Drifts, the landscape of changing trends. And we're going to be signing off. This is Sanjana. Bye, Bengaluru.
This is Vanessa. Bye bye, Bengaluru. Have a great evening ahead.
This program was brought to you by Akashvani Bengaluru.